Hello YouTube, Dave here again, and today I wanted to just show a video of some of the recent pickups that I've gotten over the last little bit. Most of it actually came about from Paizo having a spring sale. I wanted to make a video on it, but the week that the sale was going on, or during the period of time which the sale was active, it was also time that we had company the entire time, like for that week. So I didn't really want to get too much into like recording videos and stuff when there's other family visiting. But there's some really cool stuff that we've added here, and we're just going to go through and start with something non-gaming, but still tied to one of my interests and one of my favorite current RPGs out there, and that is Alien. This is, again, not part of the RPG product line, but it is the comic series Alien versus Captain America. And I've got issues 1, which I have actually had for a while. I think I got this before I got injured. I just don't remember if I had actually shown it in a video or not. But this is issue 1, and I got them in the wrong order. So there we go. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I think 4 is the end. I think they're just 4-part. Yeah, it has the end with the question mark thing on it there. So really, really cool. I haven't had a chance to read these yet. I'm not a huge like Marvel character fan, if I'm going to be completely honest, but I do have some crossover stuff. Like I've got I think it's Predator versus Spider-Man or something like that. I have the trade for that as well somewhere around here. And yeah, the Alien versus Captain America. Mostly the reason that I wanted to continue to get these is, even though like I'm not a huge Marvel fan, it's just to support the game store that I was getting these things at. I'm not there as often anymore, so I still like to be able to add something that I can, go and make sure that I'm picking up from them whenever I go in for a visit. So these modern Alien comics there, that's part of one of the reasons why I like to go, and it's just, it had been a while, like these 3 issues were waiting for me, but again, I was dealing with that leg injury and traveling around to visit places and visit stores and like be in the car for an hour was just not in the cards back then. All right, we've got a few Dungeons and Dragons related products here. We're actually going to start with a couple of Funko Pops. And again, I'm not like the biggest Funko Pop collector, but it's one of those things where there's, they do so many licenses that there's like one thing out there at least for everybody. I have a couple of wrestling ones. I've got, the City Hunter from Predator 2. But my main collection of like Funko style figures is the Dungeons and Dragons line. And the first one I want to show here is the Dungeons & Dragons Lolth figure. So, again, this was there at EB Games in New Minas, and I was looking to spend something there because, again, I like that store. They're good to us. They're a pet-friendly store, or, they love our dogs there. So, I always try to support them as much as possible. It would be nice to get the Strahd one as well. I'm not the biggest Valindra Shadowmantle fan, so I don't know if I'm really worried about that one or not. I'm not really going to go out of my way for this one either. But the Lolth one looked really, really cool, so I decided I would add that to the collection. And then they had one that I absolutely had to have because I wanted to have something related to this character, like a physical representation of this character in my collection or some form of fashion for quite some time now, and that is the Venger character. So this is the 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide. So it's like Venger on the base there, and in the background is the reproduction of the 2024 DMG cover, so with like really cool Venger artwork there. It also has like Warduke on there, which we're going to talk about here in a moment, actually, because that does segue nicely. And I keep forgetting her name, but she's one of like the evil. I think she's an evil priest. I don't know, Skylar or something like that. But anyway, but we do have Warduke on there. But we have front and center there is our boy Venger, and again, I love Venger. One of my favorite looking villains there. And again, on the back, you just kind of get a better look at the cover of the book there, along with the Funko Pop. But the reason I say that, Warduke comes into this situation is because from DM's Guild, Print on Demand Services, I ordered a Drive-Thru RPG. I always go through the DM's Guild link, but they're the same company. I got the XL1, Quest for the Heartstone. And you can see Warduke right on the cover there, along with Strongheart. So we have the good and evil fighters side by side on the cover art. And I actually want to do an updated Warduke video, because I do have like some other Warduke stuff in my collection now that I didn't have when I did the first video, and a few more like stat blocks to look over. So I thought it'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool to do that. So, yeah, I've been looking to add this one again to my collection forever now, and I just finally decided to pull the trigger on it. And I'm glad I did, because we got, like, again, this is just really, really cool. This has, like, the LJN toy line stuff in it, and it even mentions, like, there's the mention of LJN toys. So, just really, really cool stuff. All right, so up next, everything else is going to be Paizo related. These are all things that I've purchased myself. A while back, Paizo updated their digital storefront. I think a third party, I'm not sure exactly how they went through with it, but I think it's a third party that oversees their shop now, like their online store. I could be wrong. There was like a whole bunch of like information on it, but it was a while ago, and there's been a lot that's happened since then. But basically, the complimentary subscription services that like reviewers were set up for haven't really been working, or hadn't been active for a while. They said they're trying to work on getting those back, but I don't know if I necessarily would plan on going back to the complimentary subscriptions. I've signed up for a bunch of the subscriptions for the stuff that I really wanted there, and like I said, we do have some things there that have been from the subscription service, and some other things from that sale. So, like I said, it's a bit of a mix, but from the subscription service, we do have the Pathfinder Dark Archive Pocket Edition. This is the remastered version. So this book came out originally for the initial version of Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So remastered, you can think of it as like 2.5. It's the version of the game that shed the OGL and created their own open license there, their Orc license. So this is just a re-release of this original book, but it is revamped for the current OGL free edition Orc license version of the book. But again, I love pocket editions, and essentially with these, what I do, because I already have the pocket edition for the regular version, I don't need both. Right. Same thing with the hardcover. I did end up getting the hardcover for the Dark Archive, even though I didn't actually plan on it. They added it to my order the night before it was going to be shipped out, and I just didn't get a chance to get to my computer to update it. Because again, that's back when I was still, on crutches and stuff, and just going up and downstairs where my computer is downstairs. It just wasn't in the cards, and I was having trouble signing in on my phone. So I ended up getting the hardcover for this, as well as the updated pocket edition. So essentially, I just give away the original versions to friends of mine. Just let them know, like, hey, it is the slightly outdated version, but if you want the book to at least see the gist of what's going on, because mechanically the stuff's still the same. It's just some like keywords and stuff has changed from it. But anyway, I am happy to have the updated pocket edition version, though, because again, pocket editions are some of my favorite things. We're going to shift over to Starfinder for a moment here, and again, as part of the subscription, I did get the new Starfinder Cantina map, and this is the second map to release under the Cantina branding, or the Cantina title, I guess. Not really branding, but title. The first one was for first edition, and they are very different looking maps, so you're not going to confuse them with one another, so it is good to have the two different versions. And of course, you're not going to confuse them, because first edition and second edition Starfinder logos do look quite different from one another. Even just like looking at the spine there, you can tell the difference. So again, I love these maps. I am taking a bit of hiatus from my Starfinder game, but the way that I've been writing the adventures for my Starfinder campaign is just looking at the maps that I have and kind of getting inspiration for like some encounters or some things that I can do to like create a story out of some of the locations there. So I absolutely adore these maps. All right, so up next, we've got some adventures for Starfinder here. So these are standalone adventures, and when I was receiving the adventure paths for Starfinder from the complimentary subscriptions, they weren't sending the standalone adventures, so they were considered a separate thing, and they didn't actually initially have their own subscription. So it was something that you just had to buy on your own. Eventually, they did have one, but they decided to, when they revamped the store, they just sort of merged the two together. So this one I already owned, which was the Liberation of Locust 1. So I've had this in my collection ever since it came out, but I never owned any of the other ones. So when they had their spring cleaning sale, it was like 50 to 70% off on first edition Starfinder, Pathfinder, and even like some second edition, especially like the pre Orc license or pre remastered books that they still had available. But for adventures, we've got Junker's Delight. So this is a group for, I think it's for first level characters. Yeah. So this is for first level, and the Liberation of Locust 1 is for, what do we got here? Yeah, this is one that's actually, it can be played after Junker's Delight. So it's, yeah, for fourth level characters. So these two were actually connected together, which is kind of cool. So I'm just going to stack them like that. Up next, we've got Redshift Rally, which is for 7th level characters, 7th through, I think, 11th level, or 10th level, leading them into 10th level. And it doesn't necessarily say on the back here that this is connected to the two previous ones, but the level progression does line up, because Liberation of Locust 1 would have ended with the players being 7th level. So I kind of treat this almost as like a little mini campaign, where it's just not like an overarching story, it's just different things that occur. And then the final one that I have here is To Defy the Dragon. So I think this is for 10th level characters, leading them into level 13. So again, really cool to have these finally in my collection. I've seen some of them at stores, but I could never remember which ones I had or if I had any of them. So I never really bought any of the ones that I came across, because I just didn't know until the sale came up, and it was like $12.50 or something like that. Or it was like $12. Yes, $12, or $11 or $12 for each of these. So it's like, it's kind of hard. Like if I buy a duplicate at that cost, it's not a big deal, right? Worst case scenario, I can turn around and sell it for the same price, right? So it's really cool to have those adventures in my Starfinder First Edition collection. And also for Starfinder First Edition, I ended up getting the Attack of the Swarm Adventure Path. So before they started doing the complimentary subscription service for reviewers, Paizo had their PR representative, like the head of their PR, who was responsible for putting together orders for reviewers. And this was somebody who, like, he was doing a lot of different jobs within the company. So he was definitely like swamped, and they would be, sometimes there'd be gaps between, orders coming in or stuff like that being sent out to reviewers. And like, I totally understand. So I ended up getting the first issue here, The Fate of the Fifth. Though I couldn't remember if I had kept it or not, because a few years ago, I went through and kind of purged out adventure paths that I only had partial installments for, with the exception of one, which we're going to get to here in a moment. And I couldn't remember if I'd given away or if I had sold, or however I dealt with it. I think I took it to a game store for credit. But I couldn't remember if I had kept my issue number 1, so I just decided to get the whole adventure path, because again, it was like $12 for the book. So it really, or $11.50, because these are $23, so they were half off. So for $11.50, it was again really easy just to say, like, if I have it, I can turn around and sell one of these for like $10 if I needed to, or I can just take it to a local game store and maybe get a little bit of credit there. So I don't have an issue with that. But yeah, so this was one of the adventure paths that I wanted the most, because I was really interested in the Swarm, which is kind of like these insectile creatures that kind of go through and just like dominate areas that they encounter. And actually, the reason that the Pact Worlds came together, and the reason that they have a peace agreement with the Veskarium, was because the two systems needed to ally with one another in order to actually fight back against the Swarm and drive them out and maintain their independence from them. So it was really cool. The Shriean race from Starfighter also began as members of the Swarm, but actually left and gained independence and like sort of their own sentience and kind of leaving like the hive mind type of thing. So I have Fate of the Fifth, which is the first one here. Then book number 2 was The Last Refuge. We got Huskworld, the Forever Reliquary, Hive of Minds, and then the final one here is The God Host Ascends. And again, I really wanted this adventure path. I might, at some point, adapt this for 2nd edition Pathfinder and see how that goes. So it might be a future campaign that I run, but it's definitely one that I wanted to have in my collection. I only ever had the first book and then nothing else. So I wanted to make sure that I finally had this. And at half off and they were all available, I just jumped at the chance. So I mentioned that I'd gotten rid of all of my like one-of Adventure Path books, except for one series that I did want to get, and that was the Agents of Edgewatch series. So I have books 1, 2, and 3, but I never received 4, 5, or 6. And the store in my local area wasn't really getting the adventure paths or wasn't really getting them reliably. So for years, all I've had were issues 1, 2, and 3. I did have them like wish listed from 401 Games for a very long time, but I was hoping that they'd go on like a really good sale, which they never did. But they did here. So these ones were $12 because I think these are $24.99. Yeah, so these were $12. These like US $12, but even still, the conversion to Canadian's not that bad for that amount. So I now have the complete series. So I have 1, 2, and 3 already, and these are books 4, 5, and 6. So it'll be nice to finally put this all together, and it'd be really cool also if they just did like an updated compilation hardcover book of this adventure path for the remastered rules. But even if they don't, I now have the complete campaign. And my dog sees another dog, it looks like. All right. The last few Pathfinder related things. Speaking of adventure paths, the physical or the soft cover adventure path, like these style books where they're multi-part stories being told over multiple months, that part of their business model has gone away. It's kind of a sad day because it's what made their company for the longest time, like going back to Dungeon Magazine with Shackled City, Age of Worms, and Savage Tide. And when they lost the license to the magazines, the first thing that they released afterwards was the Rise of the Rune Lords campaign. And those were all like the soft cover adventure path books like what we have here. So it's kind of a shame that they're gone, but they're replacing them with hardcover books that are coming out less frequently. So the first book that we have in this new adventure path formatting in the hardcover style is the Hellfire Crisis Hellbreakers adventure path. So the Hellfire Crisis here, like I said, we got Hellbreakers. This is for characters levels 1 through 9. And there is going to be a second part to the Hellfire Crisis adventure path, so a second hardcover book. And I think they'll take the players up to close to level 20, maybe not quite level 20, but we'll take them close to it. I haven't had a chance to really look through this yet, so I can't say too much about it. But I was looking forward to it, and I do have the Lost Omens Hellfire Dispatches. So this is sort of a complimentary book that goes along with the campaign. So it gives you some other like background information, some other organizations and NPCs and some other things that you can use to help expand on the adventure path itself. So ended up getting those with my monthly subscriptions. And then finally, or semi-finally, I guess the penultimate item of this video is the Starfinder 2nd Edition Galactic Ancestries book. So this is just a book filled with 21 new playable alien ancestries, new options for Starfinder Core Ancestries, new rules for Pathfinder Legacy Ancestries, and versatile heritages and ancestry feats. So I will be doing a video on this one, again, at some point in the very near future, but just a book of more and more options, like, is always going to be great stuff to have. So Really happy to have this in my collection. This was a book that I was really looking forward to. And when the next time we go to make Starfinder characters, this will be available for people to use. And then the final item is probably not the most exciting one, but it kind of is for me. And that is the 2026 Paizo product catalog. Now, I'm going to actually do a separate video flipping through this booklet and going through and seeing like everything that's in here. But when they went on their website and they said that their catalog is ready and that you could get a free copy sent to you, you just got to pay for the shipping. I actually got 2 copies of it. One of them, I'm actually glad I did, because one of them had a little bit of a rip on the top corner there, but it kind of unlocked just a memory of when I would go to my local game store back when I first really got into collecting like D&D books. And just every quarter, there would be a new Wizards of the Coast product catalog, and I used to love flipping through that. So just having like the physical catalog on hand to look through and to be like, okay, well, I want this and I want this. I mean, I got pretty much everything anyway. But just to kind of go through and like read the descriptions or see like the initial cover art for some of these things, really, really cool. So I'm going to do a separate video flipping through the product catalog. But yeah, this was something that, again, I saw it and it just like it unlocked that memory. And I used to love flipping through the Wizards of the Coast catalogs for everything. So it's really cool to have this physical version of the Paizo one as well. You can get you get like the PDF of it for free online. You can get I think the physical one is still free as long as you pay shipping. And if you live in the States, the shipping's probably not going to be as much as it was here. That's why I ended up ordering just a couple of them to help justify the shipping cost. But yeah, really, really cool stuff. So anyway, those are some of my most recent pickups for my largely Paizo collection, but a few other things there as well. So let me know in the comments below. Did you guys take advantage of the spring cleanup sale that Paizo was having? If so, what did you pick up? And if not, what's your favorite adventure path for Pathfinder or Starfinder? Doesn't, either one. Let me know that in the comments below. Thank you so much again for your time. I truly appreciate it. We will see you in the next one. Until then, take care.